I'm joined now by Michigan Democratic Congresswoman Debbie Dingell, who is an ally of the leadership here. Congresswoman Dingell, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Let me just start with, are you willing to give the president any more money for his wall? Are you willing to give him the $5 billion instead of the 1.6?
You know, I'm one of those people that says compromise is never a dirty word, but I'm also not so desperate to go home at the end of the year that we're going to vote for a bad bill. And I think what the president did yesterday, I don't think any leader, Republican or Democrat, should ever threaten to shut the government down, period, the way that he did, but let alone over the holidays. So I've started changing my holiday plans. I'm ordering food to get picked up by Uber the day before Christmas because I think the way things are right now, we're going to be working.
What is it? Did the president offer, because one of the things that I have not been able to figure out is in normal negotiations, if you want something more than what is already agreed to, you offer something else. Has the president offered anything else in exchange for getting Democratic votes to give him additional funding for this wall?
You know, my understanding, I was not in the meeting, so I'm learning things just like you and millions of other Americans across the country, is that it was a pretty shut down conversation. You know, and the fact of the matter is, one of the things, Chuck, that gets me very angry, I don't know any Democrat that doesn't care about keeping this country safe. It's a #1 priority, and it's one of our most important responsibilities as a member of Congress. We disagree on how to do that, but there are lots of studies that show that this border wall is not going to keep us safer. I mean, to me, it's a symbol of division. Let's use biometrics. Let's hire more people at the border. Let's use drones. There are lots of other ways to use money to keep us safe.
Well, there's only one person that is creating this illusion, but it gets amplified. How would you get the president to stop accusing Democrats of not caring about this?
Well, I mean, look, I'm going to see him on Saturday. I'm going to say it to him. I just don't think it's productive. I think we all got to sit down at a table, but you can't force people because you've got the threat of a holiday to do things that don't make sense. Negotiations, compromise, everybody's got to be at the table talking about ideas. And I've talked to people on the Appropriations Committee, and things we need to be doing are not, as of a couple of hours ago, happening.
Did Nancy Pelosi lock up the speakership yesterday with that performance? Did the remaining holdouts start to feel better about her?
I think that you are seeing she showed why she will be a strong speaker. I think that there have been a lot of conversations. I've always said that she will get these votes one by one because there's nobody better at getting votes than Nancy Pelosi. I think we are moving towards putting all of this press speculation, will she or won't she, behind us, and getting on with doing what we need to do to keep this government going, to keeping this country safe, and addressing a lot of problems that people care about.
So, is she going to embrace term limits? And what does that mean? Is it term limits for leadership, term limits for committee chairs? Are you guys going to embrace the sort of what the House Republicans do when it comes to leadership terms?
So let's divide this into two categories. First of all, nothing's going to be decided for the broader caucus until we meet as a caucus when the freshmen are part of us in January, and there will be a deadline for vote in the caucus of February 15th. So that will get done. I think there will be a strong discussion about leadership term limits, and there will be a separate discussion about term limits for chairman, and there are very, very strong feelings on both sides of this issue. But I think that, we have set the parameters for a real conversation inside the caucus, which many people feel that we haven't had, and ultimately there's a timeline for a vote, and it'll happen. I think Speaker-elect Pelosi's discussion with the group that is going on, you're hearing what she is saying to them. She speaks for herself, not for other leaders. Right. I know that different leaders have different feelings, but I think we are moving towards getting this resolved inside a caucus with a very, very blunt discussion, a secret vote, and we'll go from there.
All right. It sounds like it is pretty divisive. Last question. We now have Michael Cohen, the federal government, and now another entity saying that the president helped direct a couple of felonies, a couple of federal crimes, and, by the way, may have helped commit tax fraud. Is that enough to open an impeachment inquiry in your mind?
I think that we've got strong committee chairmen that are going to hold oversight hearings. We have an independent prosecutor who I think's investigation is, quite frankly, because it is independent, one of the most important investigations where he's going to come forward with the facts. I think we have a responsibility as a Congress to make sure we are protecting the Constitution and looking at these issues. But as a Democrats take over leadership, we cannot just be anti-Trump. And impeachment is something that is going to divide this country. We need to take it seriously. But we won in November because the American people want to see us deliver on health care, on infrastructure, ethical issues. You've seen the polling. So we've got to do both at the same time, and we will do both at the same time. We've got bills that are going to come right out on January 3rd.
We will be watching. Congresswoman Debbie Dingell, Democrat from Michigan. Thanks for coming on and sharing your views. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
Hello, YouTubers. If you're watching this, it means you've checked out our channel, so thank you. Now do me a favor, subscribe by clicking on that button down there. Click on any of the videos to watch the latest interviews and highlights from MTP Daily and MSNBC. You can get more Meet the Press content every morning in the First Read newsletter. If you're tired of content that you don't know anything about where it came from, you don't have to have that problem with us. NBC News, MSNBC, MTP, and the Meet the Press mindset right here for you on YouTube. Subscribe now.